Welcome back to the Hurdle the Line review show brought to you by the AAW Network. I am your host, Fletch. There is no Chapman this week. He is on his hollybobs. So, as is usually the case, it will be me who jumps in, and I am joined by your two usual co-hosts in Ollie and Tom. Gents, how are we this week?
Very
Um,
good. All
Very
our
good.
teams won, so you couldn't ask for a better Monday.
No,
Well,
you couldn't.
ask me that in April.
I mean, well, either way, even if Chapman did join as well, his team won as well.
Yep.
So it would have
Yeah,
been
his team beat his biggest rivals as well. So not just a
exactly.
win, but a rivalry win.
Exactly. So it either way, it'd have been a good weekend, good Monday for everyone involved. Um, just a small case of a 14 game weekend this weekend. No international series, so everything was crammed into the usual Sunday slate. Before we get into it though, don't forget to follow us and the AAW network on the socials. Join our free to join Discord server, and you can find all of the relevant links and information in the description of this episode. They are right below our beautiful faces. And if you are listening, if you're on YouTube and if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, you will find them in the app that you are listening on. Right. Anyway, just a couple of bits of news that we've had this come through over the past couple of days. Get through them, and then we'll jump straight into the games. We've had Chip Kelly has been relieved of his OC duties at the Raiders following their loss to who did they lose to, Ollie?
The Cleveland Browns.
The Cleveland Browns.
The
Shane
Browns getting coaches sacked. What a world! What a world we're living in.
Shane there's a unfortunate coincidence within that, or an irony, I guess you could look to in this one. But before we look into that one, Shane Bowen has been released of his DC duties at the Giants following their loss to the Lions. The Cleveland Browns are naming Shador Sanders the starter versus the 49ers at the weekend. This comes after he had a very, very good game yesterday against the Raiders. The Chiefs guard Trey Smith is dealing with a high and low ankle sprain. He will miss some time. And finally, the Chiefs have signed Damian Pierce to the practice squad. Have I missed anything?
I don't
No,
think we know do we know the condition of Baker Mayfield, or has that not been reported yet, by the way? Or
I don't think it's been reported yet. But
oh, okay, fair enough. Then no.
he is shoulder dealing with a shoulder injury,
Shoulder injury,
which of
so
course, as a Browns fan, gives you some bad memories seeing Baker Mayfield dealing with a shoulder injury.
potentially torn labrum again. So yeah.
Yeah. Um. So this unfortunate irony, I think, in the Browns getting Chip Kelly sacked is most Browns fans are Ohio State fans, and Chip
Yeah,
Kelly was the OC.
and I think we want to Ohio State fans want Chip Kelly back, so it's actually worked out quite well.
So honestly, well then is it an unfortunate irony or potentially just some
We'll see how we'll see how it unfolds in January.
yeah. And what do you think? I know we'll get well. Actually, to be fair, I'll ask you this question once we get into the Raiders and Browns later on. But Tom, like, going to be missing out with Chase Smith, important piece of the old line.
Hmm.
That's annoying.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in the run game. He's one of our best run blockers. So yeah, it's is a shame, but Mike Caliendo will have to stand up and yeah, they'll just have to deal with his absence. Next man up mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best way to be. To be fair, as far as it goes in football. So, right, get straight into the games. First game up on the ticket is the Cowboys and the Eagles. Um, the let me just get it up here. The Cowboys walk away 24-21 winners over the Philadelphia Eagles. Dak Prescott hasn't lost at home to an NFC East rival since 2017. Never in doubt, was it, lads? Never in doubt.
Never
No?
in doubt. I'll let Tom take this one off as someone that was asleep while this game was happening.
Yeah, no, yeah, it very much was in doubt at one point in this game. Especially with the way that the Eagles came out of the blocks in this game very, very fast. You know, they were up 21 nothing before you could blink. But then it all started to unravel for the Eagles. You know, with the talks of the relationship between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. AJ Brown had a monster game, especially early on. I think he had 7 receptions, 100 yards, touchdown. So you know they were trying to shut up the haters with some of that. But Saquon Barkley continued to struggle. I think he only had 22 total yards. He actually had a fumble as well later in the game. So the Eagles, you know, their defense that has played so well so far this season, struggled in the latter parts of this game, especially when Reed Blankenship went out. And then so did Adoree Jackson, who was getting picked on anyway. But then, you know, you got the fourth cornerback in there, and they were getting, you know, George Pickens one on one. He was winning. I think he had over 140 odd yards, a touchdown as well. He got the first touchdown to get them back into the game. Then Dak threw, yeah, I mean, it was quite a nice touchdown actually, to be fair. I mean, he just floated up and I don't even remember the name of the receiver because he was, you know, he's not caught that many passes. I think Brenton something, but he got it to make it 21-14, and then the momentum was very much with the Cowboys. So they went down and scored again. In between all that, the Cowboys did go down looking for a touchdown. That got intercepted in the end zone, which was massive for the Eagles. But then the Eagles fumbled the ball away. The Cowboys get the ball back, and then they also fumble it on the returning kickoff, with the Cowboys getting that one back. Um, and managing to eventually get in front in this game, right towards the latter stages of the game with Brandon Aubrey kicking the game-winning field goal. So yeah, the Cowboys came back and shocked the Eagles. The Eagles offense looked absolutely terrible after they went up 21 nothing. Yeah, I think they had 5 straight punts and a fumble. So it, you know, really did not look good for them in the second half. The adjustments that they had, Jalen Hurts took a really bad sack as well towards the end of this game, right after the 2 minute warning, that kind of sealed it, and then gave Dallas the position that they needed with George Pickens going down the field and setting up the game-winning field goal for Brandon Aubrey. So impressive comeback for the Cowboys, and you know an opportunity miss for the Eagles, especially up 21 nothing when you got your, you know, your foot on the throat of the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, they went 21 nothing up, 3 touchdowns, 3 drives. Then it goes punt, end of half, but they only had 21 seconds. Like they got the ball back with 21 seconds to go in the half. Third quarter, punt, 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 missed field goal, fumble, punt, and that's how they end the game. It's got to be incredibly frustrating to give up a 21-point lead. Ollie, like, did you get any much of this game in? Did you manage to? What did you think of, I guess, the way the Cowboys
I don't think
rallied
I can
back?
even possibly expand on the game more than what you both have just done there. To be completely honest with you, I've been trying to just be beating a dead horse to even go any further. But I suppose the only question I will derive from this game, and obviously the conversation you just had, is obviously the Cowboys are next on the schedule, Tom. Obviously,
Mm,
them coming off a win, 5-5, got themselves. If they'd lost that game, they're out of the playoff picture. They won that game. They're technically still alive in the playoff
mm.
picture. Obviously, how are you feeling? Obviously, playing this Cowboys team. Do you think do you think this is a team that found some form against the Eagles, or do you think it was just as Fletch said, just Dak Prescott obviously not losing to a division rival at
I
home?
think it's a tough one because I think the Eagles have played the Cowboys have played the Eagles close both times they played them as well. I think that's partly, you know, division. They know each other. They know each other's strengths. They know what each other is going to do. And the Cowboys defense has struggled in the majority of the other games. So I do tend to think this is an outlier from the Cowboys defense with how well they played in the second half of this game, and that the Eagles offense was just anemic. But I think this Cowboys offense is for real. I think they can cause any team problems. I don't care if that's playoff team or whoever. They're playing the Chiefs next, and I'm worried about George Pickens getting open down the field. Not so much CeeDee Lamb with the amount he's been dropping the ball recently, but yeah, I think this Cowboys team can cause teams problem. I think they'll probably. To me, I think they're going to go 8-1 and be one of the best like 8-1 teams. But
Mm,
we'll have to see. So
yeah.
They'd be the first team to do in
Yeah,
the
they would be the
17
first
game
team to
era
do
score
that. Yeah.
point 500, wouldn't
Yeah.
they? That
Which would
what
be
a
funny.
weird stat to have held. One other stat from this game though. Dak Prescott's. Let me get this back up again one more time. Where'd you go? Dak Prescott's 354 yards in the air now puts him at 34,378 career passing yards, surpassed Tony Romo last night, who has 34,183 passing yards for the most passing yards in Cowboys franchise history.
And when you think about the quarterbacks they've had in Dallas, that's not a bad record to be top at.
Not at all.
definitely.
Not at all. Jalen Hurts as well. Just fun little stat. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdowns on the ground, one in the air. Hurts now has 9 career games with 2 touchdowns on the ground and at least 1 touchdown in the air.
Oh,
Surpassed Cam.
no one cares about his 1 yard touchdowns, man.
Yeah, I mean he's got 39 touchdowns with the tush push. Like they shouldn't count as rushing touchdowns. Like
Like, go watch a side by side video of Cam Newton career rushing touchdowns and Jalen Hurts career rushing touchdowns, and it is a disgrace that they should be allowed to be counted as the same thing.
yeah, I know.
Oh, I agree. But
You
it
should
still
get
put.
style points.
Yeah. Well, it puts him. It does put him past officially on the record books past Cam Newton for the same for the amount of games. Cam Newton had 8,
Yeah,
and only Josh Allen has more in NFL history.
nice.
So moving on, then the Cowboys go to 5-5-1. The Eagles fall to 8-3. In this year's the NFL won't let anyone run away with anything anywhere. But we move on to we'll start with you again, Tom, because it's the Indianapolis Colts at the Kansas City Chiefs. 3 games this weekend went to overtime. This was one of them. The Chiefs were down. What was it? Let me get the scores back up. The
20 to
Chiefs were
9.
down 14-3, 20,
Mm.
and 20-9 at one point in the
Yeah.
third quarter. Rally back, bring it back to 2020 and win it in overtime. What happened, Tom?
Yeah, it was. Well, the Chiefs also spotted the Colts 7 points because Mahomes, had a ball tipped and then intercepted right near the goal line. Although they didn't get it in because, as Ollie pointed out yesterday when we were chatting, Mahomes tackled him, which is probably not what you want your $500 million quarterback doing. But it was still nice to see. But it didn't matter. The Colts still got in. Michael Pittman with a touchdown. And it looked like the Colts offense early on had the measure of this Chiefs defense. Ashton Dulin had a big play as well, 48-yard reception that set them up. But one thing the Chiefs did really, really well in this game was committing to stopping the run with Jonathan Taylor, who's had such a good season. They held him to season lows. So he had 16 carries for 55 yards. And one of those was one 27-yard run. So the Chiefs really bottled him up and made it so that later in this game, the game was in Daniel Jones's hands. And that's when things started to go wrong a little bit for the Colts because they had a commanding lead, as you said, a 14-3 lead. But the Chiefs really shot themselves in the first half. They could have had 2 touchdowns, but they had them called back. So they ended up 14-9 at the half with 3 field goals. But all the Chiefs needed was to be able to get into the end zone to try to get some momentum in this game. And they did 20-9 down, desperation time. Kareem Hunt, who, he was an absolute warrior in this game, 30 carries for 104 yards. Obviously, I know not the greatest yards per carry, but they just kept giving him the ball, and he kept doing the job, and that was really, really impressive. He also became the Chiefs' first 100-yard rusher this season, as well. So yeah, off the back of him, the Chiefs get a touchdown. They go for the 2-point conversion. Mahomes connects with Rashee Rice to make it 2017. And then the Chiefs defense really, really stepped up in the second half of this game. Chris Jones, especially, even though you might not see it in the box score in terms of sacks, he had, Daniel Jones under pressure, under constant pressure, and the Chiefs forced four straight three and outs, three. Um, in regulation, and then one in overtime as well. So the Chiefs managed to bring it to overtime. Harrison Butker with a field goal. Could have been a touchdown. They actually had the ball at the 1 yard line, but fair play to the Colts defense for holding them out there. They kicked the field goal, going to overtime. Big sack from Drew Tranquil, then forces the Colts to punt. Chiefs in basically in their own end zone, need a play. Mahomes completes it to Rashee Rice for a massive 45-yard catch, which was huge, very crucial. And then again on 4th and 3, game on the line, Mahomes completes it again to Rashee Rice for a massive gain, with Xavier Worthy getting a massive catch as well towards the end, setting up the game-winning field goal for Harrison Butker, who went 5 for 5. And Mahomes in this game also had over 350 passing yards. He did have that early interception, but as the game went on, he definitely improved. And the Chiefs in the fourth quarter came back from 11-point deficit, and won this game, and finally proved that they could win a one-score game. So yeah, that was a massive, massive win, and I was very relieved at the end of it, and
Yeah,
my heart was pulsating. So
yeah. Obviously, I know Ollie, you had the freedom in the early slate to I guess go around games. I saw your tweets. I saw you tweet. I know what games you were paying most attention to, but did you get much of this in? What did you think of what you did see as and when you did see it?
Yeah, big win for the Chiefs. I mean, if they lost this game, then obviously not not 100%, not eliminated, definitely, but it was going to be a very, very big uphill battle. Still is an uphill battle, even at 6-5. Obviously, with some of the other wins around him in that wild card thing. But yeah, obviously big win for the Chiefs. But I still, I'm not that sold on the Colts to the point of, don't get me wrong, like they're playing amazing and stuff. But I think all of us want to see it in the playoffs before we actually go, okay, this
Yeah,
Colts team is legit to that point. And obviously with the Chiefs scraping out a win, I said it to Tom before, like when I watch this Chiefs team, I just get annoyed because I'm like, you've got Kareem Hunt getting 30 carries on a Patrick Mahomes team. It's just, what are you doing? Like, and it just annoys me that you got, some of the pieces that they put around Mahomes the last 2 years, whereas you look at some of the other teams and how they built around their quarterbacks. You look at the Eagles, you know what I mean? If Mahomes had the Eagles front office building around him, I don't think the Chiefs would be in the situation that they're in. I know this sounds like a hilarious thing to say for a team that has won the fucking amount of Super Bowls. Sorry, I swore the amount of Super Bowls they've won in the last few years, but I think a lot of that is on the back of Patrick Mahomes, and I just think if they're not careful, then this season and what they're going through this season is going to happen more frequently. Because as I said, I mean, Kareem Hunt getting 30 carries in a game is the biggest sign of that for me. But obviously, massive to get this win, and obviously, if they didn't get this win, then it'd have been a lot harder for them to make this final push for the playoffs, which I'm still excited to see, regardless of what happens.
yeah.
It's just fun to see a team any year where there's one of the juggernauts gets kind of dragged down into the kind of mud of it. It's obviously interesting to see how they come out of that. But
Yeah, that's always the thing, isn't it? Like when you do see one of the powerhouses have to get down and dirty and get, like you say, right there in the mud. It's for, I guess, obviously for Tom, this is not as it's not a nice season in comparison. You much
yeah,
used to, but for us as neutrals, you really get it. It's easy to say that you're good when everything goes well, but how are you putting yourself?
Yeah,
How are you
this
getting
is a
through
lot
that?
more
And
interesting than going 15-2 and winning every one. Do you know what I mean? Like this is
Hmm.
far more like this is a lot more interesting for a neutral to watch and to see how the team responds than
I
just
mean,
see.
this team's funner to watch than that team that
yeah,
won 15
Yeah,
and 2,
yeah,
to be honest with
yeah.
you. I mean, I actually think despite their record, they're probably better. I mean, statistically, they are better overall in terms of points per game,
Well,
defense,
I don't know if you
everything.
saw in the broadcast when they put some of the numbers up, but they're treading like historic numbers for like teams that are hovering around
Mm.
500 at this point
Yeah,
in the season for point
yeah,
differential. Like their point differential is like plus 80, and they were 5-5. Like,
yeah. It's crazy. It's
nuts, man.
crazy.
But it's for me. You really get to see what a team is truly made of. The Super Bowl happened the way it happened. The season's happening the way it's happening. It's nice to sit and watch teams the way they respond and how winners do that.
Mm.
It's easy to, I would say, it's easy to go, well, nothing's going our way. Fuck
Yeah,
it. But it takes a lot. So always a pleasure to watch. Next up, we have a game that involved both Ollie and I wanting both teams. Well, both of us had somewhat stake in this game. It was the Steelers and the Bears. Um, I felt somewhat dirty wanting Aaron Rodgers to win, but I wanted Aaron Rodgers to win. And then you're there wanting, you've got Caleb Williams wanting to do you a favour. Did we get much of this game in? What I'm not gonna lie to you. This was part of the early slate. I didn't
I
see
barely watched this game.
Nish. I ain't seen Nish.
Ollie, you're muted or something.
it was quite a back and forth game. Because I had red zone on, and this was constantly like what 1 minute it was the Bears have scored and they're taking the lead, and then it was the Steelers have scored and they're taking the lead, and then it was the Bears have scored and they're taking the lead. Looked like at the end maybe the Bears were going to do a Bears as they always do. Steelers got the ball back. Obviously down three, chance they get a field goal or to tie it or score a touchdown, and the Bears defense were able to get the stop at the end, but Bears defense, continuing their streak of turnovers. Another, I think, it might be one or at least minimum one, might have been multiple interceptions in this game. Um, they lead the NFL in interceptions. They've like I
And
think
Sean Wright got his fifth or sixth interception, like leading the league
they've
in
yeah
interception.
they've they've got three of like the top five interception leaders in the NFL this season. So obviously, seeing the Steelers lose brings me much joy every single day, every single time it happens. They have just blown a four-game division lead. The Ravens now currently hold the division lead, so not many things bring me much more joy other than Brown's victories than Steelers losses. And it was obviously good to see the Steelers, and obviously shout out to the guys over at the UK Steelers pod that were more upset about Myles Garrett getting to his 18th sack than they were about their team blowing a four-game lead. So shout out to those guys. But yeah, obviously good to see the Steelers lose and see Caleb Williams play. So I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't amazing in this game, but play somewhat well and get the win.
He got three touchdowns, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, came through when he needed to.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
The one play I saw in this game, I think, again on red zone, was him getting sacked in the end zone and the
Yeah,
Steelers
horrible,
recovering it for
horrible
a
play at the end.
touchdown.
So horrible. I
Which
don't
I
know
was like,
what
yeah, what
you're
are you
doing in
doing
that
holding on to the ball?
situation.
Just throw it away. But
yeah.
yeah, I didn't. If I'm honest, I didn't see barely a lick of this game. So good recap there, Ollie.
Yeah, they're very similar to the way you described that first game. I couldn't, like, I can't. I've got like the horrifically detailed sets. I can't do anything more to do
Well, I
that.
mean, Bears 8-3 now.
Mm,
A lot of people have been kind of picking them as the fake team in the NFC. A lot of teams are saying that their record, a lot of people are saying that their record doesn't truly reflect them. And if any team is going to fall out, we spoke about it last week, Fletch.
Yeah,
Obviously, how probably the most likely scenario in this NFC playoff picture is one of the NFC North teams being the team that misses out. Obviously, being between the Lions, the Packers, and the Bears. depending on obviously how that shapes up. And obviously, as we said then, everyone was obviously going to pick the Bears to be the team to
Yeah.
fall out. But they keep winning. They beat a Steelers team that, don't get me wrong, I think a lot of us think are the same as they have been. I mean, how many times have I said it to you, Tom, that I
Mm.
expect them to do what they do every year, and that's lose 4 of their last 7 games and
Yeah.
finish 9-8 or 10-7. And if they do make the playoffs, scraping and losing the first round. But it's still a Steelers. They're still a competent NFL team, and that you've got to go and beat them. And the Bears did that. So as long as the Bears keep on winning, 4-1 at home now. So obviously they're playing well at home at Soldier Field. So if they keep on winning, it is going to get interesting, that NFC picture, and especially the NFC North.
Yeah, and the Bears also, with this win, got their first win over a team with a winning record this season as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So they kind of, I know Caleb Williams was talking about that after the game. That it was a big win for them as well. So yeah, fair play to the Bears, 8-3, and their best start since I believe 2019. So
yep. Since Mitch Trubisky
Yeah.
days.
yeah,
Let's hope that Caleb Williams works out a little bit better after this year than Mitch Trubisky did
yes,
after that year.
definitely.
Yeah. Um, Absolutely. Then we move on to the other game that featured, well, one of the other games that featured an NFC North team. Obviously, I think I'm going to have to take this one. The New York Giants at the Detroit Lions.
Actually,
Now,
Fletcher, I thought it'd be
obviously,
better. I thought it'd be better if I take this one. Obviously, is that I'm
you know
kidding.
what?
I'm kidding.
Honestly,
I'm kidding.
go for it. I don't want to really talk about this at the moment. So, Mrs. Fletcher's only, but you think you put me on a timer? Mrs. Fletcher put me on a timer just for my blood pressure with this game. This was ridiculous. The Giants went up 10-0 in the first quarter, gave the Lions what I can't even say they gave us hell all game. The offense yet again struggled to get going. The defense was struggling to keep up. Um, like that, it was chunk play after chunk play after chunk play on offense. It felt like nothing the Giants did was for a 2-3 yard gain. You'd stop them on first down, you'd stop them on second down, and then you'd give up a 45 yarder on third down. That's how it felt all game. Nothing seemed just. I mean, if you look at all their receivers, what like they had one, two, three, four, five, six receivers with a catch this game. Their longest each was 23, 33, 30, 42, 39, 40. Normally, someone's got a 5 yarder in there. Like
Hmm.
a couple of plays for 5 yards. Normally, no, every single one of them had at least a 20-plus yard play. Um, all three of the runners that were involved or had a run play in the game have a long of 10-plus yards. Again, normally you see someone has a long of 3 or a long of 2, just because that's just the way it works. Nope. Every play that seemed to work was a chunk play or it was dead. Like it was a nothing, and it was continuous all game. I've said it a number of times for on this podcast. I've said it a number of times on social media. I cannot bang this drum enough. What the Giants did so well, and we've all spoke about how good the Giants D line is, and the defense is okay. That D line has been nasty. They've got so many great pieces. They created so many mismatches against the offensive line, put Goff under real pressure again and again and again. The last point I think I need to make on it, as far as sorry, as far as the Lions go,
Bless you.
just I'm on Ross. This is it. I'm allergic to saying this because it shouldn't be a thing. What the fuck is going on with Amon-Ra St. Brown and dropping passes?
Hmm.
I deem for so long one of the most reliable pair of hands in the entire league has had a disgusting case of the drops this year. Um, for whatever reason, the Giants are 27-17 up to start the early in the fourth quarter. All felt done. Um, the Lions do get a touchdown straight after that with Jameer Gibbs with a 50-yard rush. Bring it back to 27-24, and then it felt like the Lions like okay, that's us done. going 3 and out the next time you get the ball. It's not good enough. And then Jake Bates does end up coming out with a field goal, um, just to tie it up and whatnot. But it was nasty, man. It was ugly. And then literally first play of overtime, Jameer Gibbs 69-yard touchdown. Then it's obviously the Giants have to score a touchdown then
And
put them
shout
under that
out to
kind of pressure.
Jameer Gibbs as well, because 269 yards rushing, I believe, or 269 total yards. Because he also had 11 catches for 45 yards,
Yeah,
two
40,
touchdowns. So he just had an absolute monster performance that saved the Lions. But I would
264 yards from scrimmages.
yeah, 264 yards total. So there you go. So yeah, he had an absolute monster game. I wanted to shout out as well with Jameis Winston because you got the full Jameis experience in this game for for the Giants. Opening play down the field, deep shot, Wandale Robinson, who ran havoc over the Lions. He had over 100 yards in like the first quarter. Like he was dominating. Um, so yeah, he gets touchdown there, and then they have another. So it's a trick play, flea flicker back, throws it for a touchdown. Nice play. And then later in the game, Gunnar Olszewski then throws it to Jameis Winston as a wide receiver who mosses the Lions defender and goes in for a touchdown, but then also throws a costly pick as well. And that is the full Jameis experience that you expect when he comes and plays. So, but yeah, impressive for the Lions to come back from that 10-point deficit and manage to eke out eke out a big win because if you lose this game you're in real jeopardy at that point. So needed this win massively, right, Fletch?
Oh yeah, massively needed that win.
That was a
It
hilarious
was
game. Hilarious game. Jameis Winston experience on full. Nothing, not
Literally.
many things better than the full R-rated Jameis Winston show
That's literally what I just said, yeah.
in the NFL when he has one of these games. So always a fun experience for those watching.
fair enough. Um, but yeah, the brought out a couple of trick plays, got us on there, got us on them ones, and then yeah, that was the game. So the Cardinals then faced the Jags. Um, the Cardinals, well, sorry, the Jags walk away 27-24, made it a very, very difficult day for themselves. Again, I didn't check almost any of this. It was coming through somewhat, and I wasn't paying attention.
The Jags continue to win in spite of their quarterback playing terribly. Like I don't understand it. Like the kid threw three picks in this game. He had two touchdowns. One of them was a really nice one as well, a laser. But to Parker Washington. But he just puts the ball in harm's way. He just you never get proper consistency out of Trevor Lawrence, and that's something you need for the Jags. But fair play for them to manage and to come back and win this game because the Cardinals actually took the lead, I believe, 24. Was it 24? I don't know. They took the lead late in the fourth quarter, but then the Jags got a field goal. Then it went to overtime, and then
No, other way around.
was the other way around?
Cardinals. So the Jazz took the lead, and then the Cardinals drove down and got a field goal to tie it.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah,
But did the Cardinals then? Did they take a lead earlier in the fourth quarter or something? Because they scored a touchdown.
yeah, they had the lead.
Yeah.
The Jags took the lead in the fourth, and then Cardinals drove down. Obviously, I was there cheering, hoping that they would score a touchdown, and they scored
I
a
know.
field
I
goal.
was hoping the Cardinals win, and even in the overtime as well. I had no idea what Jacoby Brissett was thinking. It's like fourth and three, and he just hucks it down the field when it's incomplete, and
Well,
then
I
it's
don't really know why they actually called like that. I think it was like a 60-yard field goal from there. Like, I think I'd
yeah,
rather.
like why not attempt the field
It
goal?
felt, I don't know. It just felt like there was a lot better things to do there, and at least a lot better play calls to do there than whatever the hell that play call was. But yeah,
the
Cardinals
fraudulent
lose.
Jags still somehow have gone to 7-4. So
I mean, they're gonna get to 10 wins.
I
Just
can't wait
they've,
for them to get exposed if they do make it to the playoffs.
and I
So
think they will. They're gonna get to 10 wins. I'm telling you, they've got to play the Titans twice. They've got to play the Jets. Like they've got some pretty easy teams left on that schedule. They keep winning games by weird ways. Just going to be one of them years where they go win 10 games. And I know Tom is willing that they don't, because obviously they're currently sitting in the spot that Tom's Chiefs would like to be occupying. Um, but I just think they're going to win 10 games, make the play, lose in the first round of playoffs. But I think they're going to get to 10
I've got
somehow.
a mad false sense of optimism though, Ollie, because I'm already thinking if the Broncos go 2-2 and the Chiefs win their remaining games, then they can somehow still win the NFC
I can tell you
West.
that, like, this is probably one of the only times I'd say that I'd bet a lot of money on the Chiefs not winning their remaining games.
Yeah. Uh, there we go.
Um, I was like, when was I need to double check this. When was the last time we had three games in one weekend go to overtime?
It's the first time, the last time it was like in the early 2000s. They did
Yeah.
say, I think it's like 2004 or something that it happened.
Let's see it here. No, it doesn't send it. It doesn't say it in the 7 for 7. So yeah, but I can't ever remember. It's so rare to have even seen two games in one week go to overtime, two games on at the same time go to overtime. Like it's such a rare occurrence. But yeah, we had three games go to overtime this weekend. There were a couple more games that I think we do want to go through. Obviously the Jags there go to 7-4. The Cardinals fall to three
Which,
and
by the
eight.
way, with the Colts losing, they're
Mm,
only one game out from the division now.
yeah, it's
The
crazy.
Jags.
It's
Imagine saying
mad.
that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was- yeah, only one game away from the division.
Yeah,
And
I know.
but but what
Still
I
got to play
do
the
think,
Colts, I think.
what I do
They got to
think
play them twice.
Yeah, well, there we go.
also needs to be said though, and it's a good little segue into the AFC South. Is that's the games that we've had listed that I've had put in front of me via the list. So I'm going to drop to another AFC South game featuring the Tennessee Texans, the Houston Texans. See, my brain's not working today. It's what happens when you get dropped in it last minute. The Houston Texans, as they beat the Buffalo Bills on Thursday night. That division's getting nice and toasty at the top because Jacksonville might be one game away from the Colts, but the Texans are only one game behind the Jags still
Yep,
after
yep,
beating a team that no one really expected them to beat.
They were 0-3, remember, as well. They're now
Yep.
6-5 from being
yep.
0-3, which again I think is a masterful job from D'Amico Ryan's
Oh, I thought you were going to say Davis Mills.
and that defense just absolutely fed on Josh Allen all night. 8 sacks, forced 2 interceptions.
Hey,
Um,
that's cheap.
it was yeah, it was insane. Fair play to the Texans defense. They stepped up massive in this game.
I just don't believe in the Bills. Like, I
I don't
just,
either. So
I just like, unless they like win a Super Bowl, I just don't think I'm ever going to believe in them. Like, I just don't know. It feels like it doesn't matter that how good Josh Allen can be. They're just going to continue to fail with everything else around him. And I don't know. I just don't. I think they need wholesale changes. I think they need a new GM, I think they just need a new everything to try and build something around Josh Allen. Just this current uh, regime and kind of system is just continuing to just fail him
and
every
it
year.
was it was those issues that continued to crop up for them. They couldn't get receivers open down the field. Josh Allen was then waiting
Because he
in the
doesn't have a
pocket.
receiver, man. Like, it's Josh Allen, and he has no, like. I'm sorry, but Khalil Shakir, Ty Johnson, Jackson Hawes, like, go look at the best quarterbacks in the NFL and look at their
Mm.
throwing. I mean, do you know what I mean? Justin, I've just completely forgotten his name from the Eagles. What's his name? The Eagles quarterback now? I've just
Jalen
forgotten it.
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Well, not Justin Hurts. There we go, Justin Herbert. Do you know what I mean? He's throwing at AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and
Hmm.
and Josh Allen's out here throwing to Khalil Shakir, Ty Johnson, Jackson Halls, and Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even have like an actual NFL one wide receiver on his team.
And even with that as well, they could have potentially won this game if, because, there's 4th and 23. There's a beautiful hook and ladder play that then Khalil Shakir takes for a first down. It looks like the Bills are going to go down and potentially win this game, but then Josh Allen throws the costly pick to end the game as well. So it was,
And
but
and
you're
don't get
right.
me
You're right. The Bills, they really have not surrounded Josh Allen with other than James Cook, who then was held somewhat in check in the second half of this game as well. If they can't get him going and the run game going, and the receivers can't get open, and their first round pick, Keon Coleman, or second round pick, whatever, he's not even on the field, healthy scratch 2 weeks in a row. Like, there's something wrong with the Bills, and I agree. I think they need to overhaul the coach, GM. They need to do something to get over the hump because otherwise they're never going to get over it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm now going to stand there in the fraud territory for the Bills.
oh yeah,
I
100%.
was so I didn't want to jump into it because you've got Josh Allen, but they're in fraud territory. Like, and it looks like more than any the win over the Chiefs, a win over the Bucks, and a win over over the Ravens. They're the anomalies of the season, not losing to the Falcons,
Yeah,
losing
but
to
then
the
also look at
Dolphins.
the. But you say that as well, yeah. The Chiefs are 6-5. This isn't the Chiefs last year. The Ravens are 6-5. This
hmm.
isn't the Ravens last year. And then who was the other team you named?
The Bucks, who are now six and
The
five.
Bucks, who are now 6-5. So do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
the best teams that they beat are actually having bad years themselves.
Hmm.
yeah,
So it's as you said, like I just can't put any stuff. And don't get me wrong, this isn't like new. Like
Hmm.
I've never picked the Bills to go win a Super Bowl any of the last 3-4 years that during this thing because I just don't I just don't believe in what they're building around Josh Allen and everything around it, and it just yeah, just every year we have these same conversations about the Bills.
yeah. Um, no, absolutely. I'm fully with you both there on this one. We then have the Baltimore Ravens winning 23-10 over the New York Jets. I forgot. I've obviously done a load of the stuff for the preview show on Thursday, and still forgot this game existed entirely. The
It was a
Baltimore
pretty
Ravens.
forgettable game. So.
Well,
Yeah,
the start of this game, the Jets were actually winning this game, and I was going there. You know, anyone that was looking for draft position was sat there going, "Well, the Jets are currently winning, the Giants are currently winning, and the Titans are currently winning. Wow, this could be a great day." And then, as I think everyone expected, that Jets winning thing quickly ended. And as soon as as soon as the Ravens got back into gear, they quickly kind of ran away with this. But they did make a mess of this. Lamar Jackson was not particularly great in this game at all. 13 for 23, I think about 150 yards. But
yeah,
basically, when they're able to get into the red zone, Derrick Henry was able to punch it in, and that's essentially how they were able to score their points in this game. Obviously, on top of a couple of field goals, and if they were playing a better team, then the Ravens probably lose this game. But just by the virtue of playing the New York Jets, they were able to be as sloppy as they were, and still kind of pull out with a win.
Yeah, it does make you question whether Lamar Jackson is fully healthy because he's also not
Yeah. Oh,
scheduled.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
also not scheduled to practice
Yeah.
like Wednesday practice like at all for the rest of the year now. So he's clearly not healthy. He's clearly still dealing with something, and they still managed to got out a win that
yeah.
was. I mean, it was pretty atrocious to watch. I'm not gonna lie. So.
And are now first place in the AFC North, the
Gonna
most
say,
expected comeback in NFL history from a team that was
They
one
didn't
in
quite
five.
cakewalk the division on it, but they are back in the lead.
Everyone was there going, "Oh my God, I can't believe the bookies have still got the Ravens as the favourites to win the North, even though they're 1-5. Let's put money on that. The bookies must be wrong. The bookies are
Mhm.
never wrong. That's why you shouldn't bet unless it's our fantasy game day thing. Um, and and of course, that's why everyone knew that they were going to end up winning these games and taking the division. And they now currently hold first place in a division, and they still got to play the Steelers twice. So as long as Lamar is relatively healthy with their schedule, I see them probably, yeah, but winning the division.
I mean, this is the thing as well. Like, it's all well and good, the 6-5 now. The teams they haven't beat great teams to get to 6-5, but you have to beat the teams that are in front of you. They were 1-5, and now they're on a 5-game winning streak. They could potentially be on an 8-game winning streak when they face the Patriots, who is the next tough team that they face, really. So it's kind of helped them out the schedule that they've had and they have at this current moment in time.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough about the Ravens. This is a terrible game. So
Yeah, I think the only thing you can really take from it is the fact that it has happened as it inevitably would have done. The Steelers have completely blown a massive lead to a 1-5 Baltimore Ravens team who have now taken the division. And ju I still stand by what you said, Ollie, and I've said this myself now a couple of times. You've almost got to fire him at this point. If you really do, you can't let that slide. You can't allow that to be a thing. When you've invested in someone like Aaron Rodgers to come in as well and be your franchise quarterback, and you've had all that drama and all this whole listen, look at what we're doing. You can't allow that just to happen. Um, Quick one though, back onto we're going to the New England Patriots. They go 10-2. They now have a 3-game lead at the top of the AFC East over the Bills, who lost 26-20 over the Bengals. This Bengals team, they are frustrating because do you know what? As crap as they don't let anyone seem to run away with a game against them, and they always seem to keep themselves in it. And they started 10-0 in this game. Well, 10-0 in this game.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean that
so
was courtesy of a pick six as well, from throwing from Drake May. He didn't have his best game in this one.
he
So
didn't start well, but
no,
he
he
bloody
finished
finished
well.
well.
He finished well, but he didn't start so well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the Bengals are just so funny to watch this. I mean, don't get me wrong, credit to them. That they had like every receiver out at like one point in this game. Like T. Higgins was out, Jamar, like everyone was out. Joe Flacco was throwing to dudes I've never heard of, and for touchdowns as well. And obviously
Yosavas,
kept themselves
Tinsley.
in this
Michael
game. Not even
Tinsley or
Loshibas.
something.
I know Loshibas. Not even Loshibas, mate. I'm talking guys I've never even heard of.
Yeah, it was Michael Tinsley, I think, got
Yeah,
one of the
yeah, and
touchdowns.
but obviously, you said it, Fletch. They're not letting teams run. I mean, they were able to stay in this game, but I think that was mainly because the Patriots were pretty sloppy to start this game, and then obviously, were able, as we kind of mentioned there, Tom. As soon as Drake May kind of locked in and kind of realized that I'm playing the Bengals defense.
Hmm.
What am I doing? They were able to kind of to get the lead and then obviously not relinquish it. But the only thing I want to say about this game is that the Cleveland Browns have now won more games than the Cincinnati Bengals since the Joe Flacco trade. So all of the NFL media people out there and channels out there that were clowning the Cleveland Browns for trading a 40-year-old Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, saying that he was going to save their season and keep, get them to the playoffs with Joe Burrow coming back. How hilarious they all looked when they were saying that. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Joe Flacco, but I think we saw in this game with the pick six all the bad things that you get in a Joe Flacco experience. And
Yeah,
but I hope
I,
they win a few more games because I
I,
don't want them pitching in the top 10.
I get what you're saying, but like at the same time, since he's been there, he's been pretty good. Like I mean, he at times he's been very good,
He
but
could throw for 1,000 yards.
but
That still
this
doesn't.
defense is that bad that, and I know obviously they kept him in the game and what have you, but it's almost because I think the Patriots took them lightly early on, and then
You're
as soon as they scored a
you're
couple of touchdowns,
you're
went up
mistaken that
17-10. It
you're
was
mistaken me. I'm not criticizing Joe Flacco
yeah, yeah, yeah,
at
yeah.
all. I'm not criticizing Joe Flacco, criticizing people that tried to make out that trading Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old Joe Flacco, to the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean,
Was
Tony
somehow
Grossi.
going to save the
Well, no,
season.
no, not even that. But that was a bad representation of the Cleveland Browns. We got a fifth
Hmm.
round pick for a guy that's won one game. Do you know what I'm saying? We got a
mm.
fifth round pick for that. Like, thank you for the fifth round pick. Everyone should be looking at that and going, wow, they got a fifth round pick for
And the
that.
question is, if you're the Bengals now, I mean, is there any point Joe Burrow coming back? Like, I mean,
We've said it
well,
last week, it would be malpractice.
there is no point, but
You're
he's
freeing eight.
slated to come
Well,
back and play the Ravens on Thursday. Like, why are you putting your quarterback in that position? Your
let's see,
franchise quarterback, you're 3-8. You're not making the playoffs. Like, it's
yeah,
just
let's
there's
see,
no point.
there has been that update though, aren't there? They've come out and said like you can anticipate for Joe Burrow to play this week.
That's hilarious.
I'm not confirmed, but the head coach has
It's
said like
so
you
funny. Just
anticipate him playing this week.
absolutely hilarious organization. And it's just so funny.
Oh man.
Um, yeah, absolutely. Moving on though to again, oh, by the way, I do want to reiterate the New England Patriots now have a 3-game lead. They still have a bye week to play, but they are 3 wins ahead of
They also haven't lost a
Bills.
road game this year.
Yeah, that's 6-0 run
Yeah.
games. Pretty crazy.
So yeah, 2 games. The Raiders and the Steelers were both at home. Bloody hell, I didn't even realise that. Fair enough.
Uh,
And that's a 9-game win streak that they're currently on. They
yeah.
get the Giants at home next
Yeah.
week before
It's only
having
going
the
to get
bye
bigger.
week. Like
Yeah.
crazy. And I just want to say, someone this off season on this podcast when we were talking about the kind of looking at potentially what could the future could be with the playoffs, there was someone who mentioned having the New England Patriots in the playoffs and being a playoff team, and and they were told that Mike Vrabel would not be the difference of getting them
I
to even 8 wins.
100% you're right, but I think more than Mike Vrabel, it's Drake May. Like Drake May is a
Mm,
top three quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were right, 100,000%. You were right.
definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, was
but
it
I think
me? Was it-
but I think you
Right.
should say you were right because of Drake May more so than Mike Vrabel. But don't get me wrong. Obviously, I think no everyone expected Mike Vrabel to raise the floor of the Patriots. Like no one thought they were going to be the bottom three team like some people thought they would be. But I think a
No,
lot of people didn't expect them to be fucking 10-2.
Yeah.
So shout
no,
out
no,
to Fletch, shout out to you, Fletch, and shout out to the people that were high on the Patriots this year.
no. I know I'm bringing it up in a sarcastic way, but I did say I thought they'd be a wild card team. I didn't think they'd be this fucking good either. So like,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I probably should have looked at their schedule
Mm.
before I made a full judgment on it because I didn't quite realize that they generally have had one of like. Don't get me
One of the
wrong. Like
easiest
you,
schedules.
don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. As we always say, you have to. Schedule's a schedule. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. You've got to beat who's in front of you.
the,
But
this
if
is
we're actually going to talk about it, it is one of the easiest schedules I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but like I said, this isn't college football. There is no quality wins. There are no
Yeah. Oh
quality
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
losses.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
none of that stuff. It's your record, and that's
Yeah.
that. You can only beat what's
hundred
put in
percent.
front of you. Um, that's and if you want to hear people whine and bitch and moan about that kind of thing, join us on Thursday morning for the College Football UK pod because I promise you there is a meltdown every week about what quality win is and a quality loss is and all that sort of stuff. Especially now we're in playoff season. Or well, get into playoff season.
Yeah, but Fletch, SEC wins, man. Everyone knows they mean more, man. Come on.
Listen, what's the hardest thing in the world?
Winning a game in the SEC.
I won't say winning a hypothetical against the SEC.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is the hardest thing in the
I know it's
world
the
that you
hardest
can
thing you can
do.
ever do. So
Um, which
that's why that's why the only undefeated teams in college football are from the Big Ten.
Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, shit.
But I genuinely think I'm not saying most Big Ten schools would, but I think the 2 Big Ten teams that are undefeated and maybe a couple more would also be undefeated with Texas A&M schedule. But I'm not going to get into that. That's a Wednesday
Oh yeah,
discussion.
100%.
Um, that's so for tonight. I will move on to the Minnesota at Green Bay game.
Yeah.
Look, not a close one.
The Packers won. There we go.
Yeah,
And JJ McCarthy sucks. Actually, I want to hear your thoughts on it, Fletch, because obviously someone that don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this like to clap. Like, I'm not saying oh you're a Michigan fan, but like as someone that generally, we had conversations about JJ McCarthy. You were obviously higher on him than I was.
well, yeah.
What are your thoughts on obviously how? I mean, he is he has been bad,
He's been really bad, really bad,
really bad.
really bad.
I'm talking
Um,
like they might be in quarterback market in the draft bad. Like he's been that bad.
Like the only person with completion percentage like this in the performances he's had so far in terms of like they did it in terms of however many quarterbacks have played, it's like him and Jamarcus Russell. Like this is how bad he has been
He's
this
yeah, it's
season.
bad.
quarterback rating from the weekend was 34.2.
Not great.
34.2. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's bad. Very, very bad. And
Do you,
And the
do you think
Vikings
that
let Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones walk.
Do you think that we're starting to make? Yeah, I know. I know that's the most funniest part, Tom, is that they literally had Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold in the building last year. But
Yeah.
do you think that maybe, just maybe, that the people that said the guy that completed 10 passes in the national championship game and acted like he was Tom Brady winning his seventh ring after the game, after doing so, maybe it was actually the team's defense and everything else about the team that was the reason they won and not the
yeah,
guy that threw 10
that
passes.
Michigan D line and the run game is what won Michigan a national
Yeah,
championship. Before we're
not
talking football, we're not talking anything that you can make whatever comments you. But it was Blake Corum.
yeah.
It was that entire D line that was
We need to
monstrous.
stop giving quarterbacks credit for teams that, like, why are we drafting quarterbacks based on their college team success?
Mm.
Like, what are we doing? And this is why I was sat there saying this guy is not a first round quarterback, not today, not tomorrow, not any day of the week. This is not a first round quarterback. But everyone said he's a first round quarterback because he only lost 2 games in college or something. It's just we
Yeah,
need to, like, no, you don't evaluate a quarterback based on their college team's record. And that's what the Vikings did, and they made a
yeah.
mistake. And now
I mean,
people are saying he's been that bad that there's actually people blaming KOC. Like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? One of the better offensive minds in, like, do you know what I'm saying? He's
yeah, yeah,
that bad
I
that
mean,
people
dude
think it's
was literally
KOC's fault.
coach of the year last year. Like, and yeah, it's been that bad. So yeah.
And let's say if you want to put it on that one, 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, or like went throughout last year when Sam Darnold was playing, he was the quarterback whisperer.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
From the
Yeah.
whisperer to the killer,
Like, don't get me wrong, you were hurt, obviously, so you're not
Mm.
obviously to, but you basically had a red you basically had a red shirt year in the NFL. You know what I mean? How many of these great quarterbacks have, that get the red shirt year?
And
Patrick
now
Mahomes, Tom Brady.
he's in concussion protocol, which is very convenient once
He looked
again.
like he looked like he unlearned football in that one year. Like,
He
yeah,
never should have said the stuff about the alter ego as well, because
yeah. No,
it just that
that's
makes
just
was
welcoming.
and that
yeah.
makes the optics of it worse.
Yeah.
It's like the Johnny Manziel's. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm obviously not comparing him to Johnny Manziel, but the minute you start doing like off the field stuff, like, not, I suppose it's technical, but you know what I mean. The minute you start doing that, it's like, yeah, your bad play isn't just bad play now. Like,
Mm.
now it's like untenable. Like, we can't have a guy out there saying that his alter ego is called Nine
Yeah.
and all of this stuff and be that bad, bro. Like, you're embarrassing us, not just yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. No, I'm not gonna do that. It's bad. It's really, really not good. And
And the Packers just beat,
they beat the brakes off him
they
basically,
beat
and
the
they
Brady.
didn't need to
I don't think
break a
we
sweat while
learned
doing it.
anything about the Packers in this game.
Other than Emmanuel Wilson can fill in for um Josh Jacobs. That's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, literally, like, I think we still have the same questions and the same assurances about the Packers that we had going into this game than we do
Yeah.
after this game.
Yeah. Um. Not much more needs to be said. Next up is the Seattle Seahawks and the Tennessee Titans. Again, like this was of everyone expected Seattle to win. I don't think many people would have expected this one, not the next game I'm going to mention, to be the one that was close.
Well, the score is probably kind to I mean, the Titans got a score at the end to make this
Yeah.
game
Like
look a
in the
little
last
bit,
minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
to make this look a little bit more respectable. But as I said earlier, the Titans took the lead in this game, actually held out like quite well for like the first half of the first quarter, and then the Seahawks just
Open the
remembered they were
floodgates.
playing similar to earlier with remember the Ravens remembering they were playing the Jets. The Seahawks remembered they were playing the 1-9 Titans, and decided to throw the balls to Jackson Smith in Jigba, who, can I just say, as obviously a Ohio State fan, Ohio State, uh, I say legend. I obviously didn't win a championship here, but had that record breaking Rose Bowl performance in the scarlet and grey. He now is the single season Seahawks receiving yards leader. He broke the record, which was held by DK Metcalf. He's done that in 11 games. I believe he is like one of four players to have over 1,300 yards after the
Yeah,
first
the others are
11
like
games.
Tyreek Hill and
Calvin Johnson
Calvin Johnson's one of them as
and
well.
whoever the other, I can't remember who it is now, but so he is well on pace. I mean, he's got 6 games. If he just carries on, if he just every game hits his average of what he's currently averaging per game, he is going to break that record. Shout out to Jackson Smith in Jigba.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there
100%.
are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks left of the season, and he is already 300 yards. So 300, just shy of 300 yards ahead
Of
of
George
George
Pickens.
Pickens, who's
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
second in receiving yards. It's crazy. That number at this point in the season to be that far ahead is crazy.
yeah,
I mean, 167 yards in this game, 2 touchdowns, including the one that is kind of the one that woke up the Seahawks. As you said, Ollie, they were down. Well, I mean, they traded field goals, so it was three apiece, and then Sam Darnold was just like, yeah, let me just chuck it deep to JSN,
yeah.
63-yard
60, yeah, yeah.
touchdown, backing away from defender. And then they just kind of took the ascendancy in the game and showed that they were the better team. And
He's the
yeah,
first. He's the first player in NFL history to have 75 over 75 receiving yards in their first 11 games, consecutive 11 games to start the season. Incredible, historic stuff.
Just crazy.
insane.
Um, and to think that he could have not played this week, George Pickens could have had a very good 146-yard day, and he'd still be
Yeah, yeah. No one's
over
catching him.
150 above him.
No one's catching him.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty close
We're,
either.
we're gonna be on. We're gonna be on record watch.
We are.
Absolutely.
But as always, every time it happens, some weird stuff happens, and they somehow end up being like 14 yards shy. So I fully expect that to be the case, as it always is the case. But we're going to definitely be on record watch.
We're going to start looking at what the odds are for it. Like when bookies start putting out for Jackson
Yeah,
Smith and
and they
Jigba to
start
break a
getting
record. What are
slashed.
the odds? Um, Speaking of odds and speaking of betting, I like to have a little flutter on the NFL at the weekend. I also like to play a bit of fantasy football, and I've always wondered what it'd be like if I could do both at the same time. Luckily, Insert Fantasy Game Day, the UK's first and only NFL daily fantasy app made by UK fans for UK fans. You can compete against other UK fans, set a lineup to a budget, compete against some of us, some other fans, some other podcasts, some other content creators, and all sorts, and win yourself a couple of quid in the process. With games starting from £2 to £25, you can join. You must be 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly, and when the fun stops, stop. Right, get those ones out there. Also, Chapman, that was quick.
That
So,
was quick.
um,
That was
sucky.
very quick for you, Fletch. Well done.
Yeah. Um, I comments I've in response. I can't say them on this podcast. In a game that was not close, the offensive juggernaut that is the Cleveland Browns battered the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to read you guys before I want to obviously throw it straight to you, Ollie, in a second, but I want to read you a tweet that I saw yesterday that some fantastic guy on Twitter had posted, right? If you ever feel sad, just remember that this planet is 4.5 billion years old, and you have somehow existed at the same time to watch and witness Miles Garrett. You lucky, lucky duck. Ollie, I know you want to talk about the offense, but you have to start with Miles Garrett.
I
Um,
I most
and
certainly would always
please,
start with the defense. With the, I mean, you say off it. I mean, the Browns won this game because of the defense. The Browns were daring the Raiders to play offense in this game. It was genuinely hilarious at certain points how it got to 10 sacks from the Browns defensive line overall. Another 3 sacks from Miles Garrett. Um, I say it every week now. I'm running out of adjectives. I think he's the best player in the NFL right now. Like, I generally think he's the best player in the NFL right now, not just defensive, but across the board. He is playing at a historic level. 18 sacks, 26 tackles for loss in 11 games. That is the most in NFL history for both marks. The Browns' top five most sacks in a season is Miles Garrett after 11 games, Miles Garrett, Miles Garrett, Miles Garrett, Miles Garrett. He has broke his own record multiple times. He has now broke his own record in 11 games. He is just, you said it, Fletch. I mean, 4.5 billion years old, and I've had the pleasure to not just watch him, but watch him for my team. It's why in the off
and
season when
in
people went
person as well, by the way.
and watch him in person. But it's why, in the off season when everyone was doing the trading stuff, oh, but we're going to ruin his career, and I want to see. I don't care. I'm selfish. If it meant the Browns going 3-14 every year, but I get to watch Miles Garrett versus watching him play for another team, that's what I'm going to do because Miles Garrett is just an absolute joy to watch. But not just Miles, the whole defense, defensive line, obviously, particular, as I mentioned, 10 sacks. I mean, Malik Collins had 2.5 sacks in this game. He now has his record sacks in a season for him. Absolutely incredible season from him. Literally one of the best defensive tackles in football this season. Mason Graham, as you would like to know, and obviously do know, Fletch, was absolutely incredible in this game. It's easy to see why Miles Garrett was pounding the table for Mason Graham in the draft. And that is because Mason Graham and obviously Malik Collins as well, what they have unlocked for Miles Garrett is interior help, something he has never had in his career. And that is the reason why we are seeing Miles Garrett play at the level that he is playing at. But Miles Garrett, before I just sound like I'm just doing a fornicating over Miles Garrett, final thing I will say on him is that I do think every time we talk about him now, we need to start talking about him in the pantheon of greatest pass rushers of all time. He's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year on a 5-12 football team. If he breaks the record, he should win Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, regardless of the record. He's got 6 games to get 5 sacks to break it. Still got to play the Titans. Still got to play the Bengals. That record could be obliterated. He's on pace for 27.5 sacks, which obviously I doubt he'll get to 27.5, but that's what he's obviously currently on pace for. But yeah, defense was incredible across the board. Carson Washington is still great. Devin Bush, shout out to him. Really good to see him continue to. This is a guy that's turned his career around in Cleveland, so really great to see him continue to play well. Denzel Ward was great in this game. Obviously, Tyson Campbell was really good in this game, was second, had 10 tackles in this game, a couple of pass breakups. Meanwhile, Greg Newsome got benched in the Jaguars game. So another week of another great trade. But I suppose I will give in to the debate and obviously mention even though the Browns defensive line had one of the best performances in Cleveland Browns history, of course, number one on every single radio, sports show, TV show this morning was Shedeur Sanders. And that is because his name brings a lot of weight. This is the most hyped, most talked about 5th-round pick in NFL history. His dad was in attendance for this game. A lot of, obviously, eyes on this game. And I will start off by saying I was impressed with Shedeur Sanders. There was plenty of things that I didn't want to see from Shedeur in this game, and I didn't really see any of them. He made, obviously, a pretty rookie mistake with that interception. But I'm not going to pound the rookie for making one interception in the game. Only had 1 sack in this game.
Great deep shot as well.
Pardon?
Great deep shot as well.
Yeah,
The
obviously
mm,
had he had the longest passing play of any Cleveland Browns quarterback this season. Uh, Doubled Dylan's longest passing play in 6 games with that deep shot to Isaiah Bond. Everyone saw Myles Garrett on the sideline. I think as soon as anyone saw that, it was like, right, well, there's no way that you could start Dylan any more games because those guys are going to riot. But don't get me wrong, there's people are obviously going to get over, you know, take this over the top, and are going to obviously get a bit, you know, maybe over exaggerating how what Shadeur did in this game. The Browns' offense was terrible in this game. Like the Browns had the second worst EPA per play this weekend on offense, and the worst success rate on offense out of any team in the NFL this weekend. Even the Raiders, who we just played, and were terrible. So don't get me wrong, this was not like a revelation on offense by any means. We saw a lot of the same that we've seen this year, but we saw things from Shadeur Sanders that impressed me, make me want to see more from him, and basically give me no reason to think that he should not start the rest of the way. But the story of this game was the Browns defense, and as I said to you earlier, Tom, one funny thing that I wanted to mention that I'll say before the podcast, just to show you how confident the Browns were playing defense in this game. Um, we punted the ball from the Raiders' 34-yard line. It gets worse. Well, not worse, better, I suppose, more hilarious. They then had a 5-yard penalty on the Raiders to take it to the Raiders' 29-yard line. 4th and 2.
they still punted it.
Raiders get another penalty, and the Browns decide to decline the penalty. They wouldn't have got the first day. It would have just been it just makes it more funny if I said that. And then decided to punt again from the Raiders' 29-yard line. Have you ever seen a team punt from inside the other team's 30-yard line?
No, I think that just shows what confidence they have in the defense. So,
They were stat padding. They were
yeah,
like, yeah, let's get Miles and this defensive line some more sacks. Like they were stat padding. But yeah,
I mean,
dominant Browns defense, and Shadeur impressed me in moments, and makes me want to see more from him.
and I was going to say regarding the sack record as well. Michael Strahan, I think he was on one of the morning shows or whatever, and he just said, I think he said, sack record, it's been nice knowing you because it feels like it's inevitable that Myles Garrett's going to break it. So that was quite a comedic thing to say.
And he's not going to do it in the fake way that TJ Watt and obviously Michael Strahan did it, where quarterbacks were just falling over in front of them and giving them 3 sacks. This guy, Myles Garrett, is out there killing dudes and just proving why as we've always said that Myles Garrett is better and Myles Garrett is the best pass rusher in the league. This is what it finally looks like when he actually has some help around him across that defensive line. This is why, as I said,
It's just a shame that the Browns have this defense on this team as opposed to having this defense on that like 2019 team or, you know.
2019. God, 2019 we were terrible. You mean 2020? But
Yeah, I mean 2020.
yeah, I mean 2023, the defense is what took us to the playoffs. That was the first year of this defense. But don't get me wrong, it's the most thing I'm annoyed about. It's what makes me scream at this team and go, look. And you look at the Browns' defensive line as well. Every single guy is back next year, apart from Shelby Harris, who's like the least contributor on that defensive line. Don't get me wrong, I love Shelby Harris, but he is the first person you would choose to be the only one not coming back next year. So obviously, if they can figure it out on offense, that's what you want to see. But yeah, it's obviously annoying that Myles Garrett is not in a position with his team's record because if the Browns are like what 7-4 right now, Myles Garrett's number one in MVP ranking, not Defensive Player of the Year ranking, MVP ranking. He is that good playing that well right now.
yeah. Look, you know me. I've always been very, very happy for us to wax lyrical about Myles Garrett. I truly think he's just a phenomenal player and has to be in the conversation of greatest pass rushers of all time. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we are going to have to move this conversation on and talk about another football game. There's 2 left, and I know we're only going to fly through these ones. Chapman couldn't be with us. Mrs. Fletcher's declined to be a Saints representative this week. Don't know why. Um,
Can't imagine why.
24-10, the Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints. Falcons go 4-7. It never looked particularly close. The Saints had a game plan that looked like it was going to cause some troubles for the Falcons
Mm.
early on, but it the Falcons, they didn't need to do very much
The only
to
points the
overcome it.
Saints got in this game were from a field goal and a pick six for um, Justin Reed. They didn't get any offensive points in this game.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to second round pick Tyler Shook. Was he playing in this game? I don't even know.
yeah, he
I
was.
don't know
Yes.
anything about this game, but um,
30 of
I will just
43 for 243 yards and an
yeah.
interception.
I'll just continue my agenda of how hilarious it is. I mean, Mrs. Fletch, I am sorry, but your team drafted a 45-year-old in the second round, even though they knew they were going to draft a quarterback in the first round this year anyway. So, what an absolutely hilarious waste of a pick.
Yeah, but they're gonna do it, but they've done it cheaply, and that's what the Saints needed. They needed a second round rookie contract to get them to this first round rookie contract. Um,
But
because
it's
they didn't.
almost as if they didn't have a third round rookie quarterback contract from the year before already on the
Yeah,
roster that they could have just rolled
you've
with,
got
and
to
who's
have a
actually
backup.
better than the second round pick anyway. But it's neither here nor there.
What's it?
Fair play
It's
to the
cheaper than
Falcons for
paying for a.
ending their 5 game losing
Oh
streak.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So they needed this win.
yeah. I'm just saying it's cheaper than paying like the vet minimum 1 million. Like you just get this guy for 200K and just no one cares. Um, Like this is how cheap they clearly are right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, the fair play to the Falcons. It's been a rough season. This would have been the perfect opportunity with the Bucks having the problems that they're having.
Hmm.
This would have been the perfect opportunity to, if you would have got your shit together, you can take this division and get a good hold on it. And unfortunately, they haven't. We'll wait see what the next 6 weeks holds though, because they're only 3 games behind. Is it three
Yeah.
games, 4 games? No,
Uh, two,
two
two
games.
games, 3 games, I think.
There's a lot of numbers there that
I
none
don't
of
know.
us were very confident with. Um, they are 2 games behind the Bucks and the Panthers.
Yeah.
So they're on 4-7. The Bucks and Panthers are both 6-5. Speaking about the Bucks, they got their asses handed to them last
Hmm.
night
They got
by the
manhandled.
Los Angeles Rams. Now I was up for this game. Um, Tom said off camera like wasn't worth staying up to. Why would anyone sit there and stay up to watch the rest of this one? That's what I was saying to myself in the fourth quarter. What did I do this for? Um, Nothing has changed. Baker Mayfield goes out early in the game with an injury. He walked out. It was in a sling, wasn't he? He was in a sling.
Yeah,
Um,
it was right at the end of the first half when he'd already been a bit banged up anyway.
yeah.
And then he goes and just hucks it up. And you can see him go down with his arm and it just be, not in a great position. And then he's off with a sling. Teddy Bridgewater comes in and the Rams just dominated this game, to be honest.
That'll be NFL legend, Detroit Lions legend. Even though we played like one game for us, and I think we lost that game. He's a legend. Teddy Bridgewater, Florida football legend as well.
So
I cannot
seeing
speak
as we
highly
were
enough of
doing
that man.
the previous comments, can we look back at it kind of thing?
Mm.
Yeah,
The first was it first 6 or 7 weeks of the season? Obviously, the Bucks got off to a hot start. I know Tom and Chapman were pretty high on the Bucks and Baker Mayfield. I had some comments about the Bucks and Baker Mayfield that I know Tom and Chapman slightly disagreed with at the time. And I just want to pull out one statistic
Go on,
that since week 7, funny that I'd obviously mentioned, first 6 weeks. Since week 7, Baker Mayfield actually has the worst EPA plus CPOE per play in the NFL out of any starting quarterback. He has not been very good statistically, and obviously the advanced statistics, the analytics aren't a fan of Baker Mayfield. He was bad in this game before the injury happened, and obviously, as you mentioned, Tom, the biggest thing why I'm having, well, why Browns fans were watching that game, going, oh my god, I've seen this before, is a guy that hurts himself and refuses to accept that he's hurt
Mm,
himself
mm.
and tries to think that
And then
he's
hurts himself even more.
and then hurts himself even more. And we're just sat there watching as Browns fans going, "Oh my word, we've seen this before." His contract's up next year. I think it is going to be. I think a lot of people 6 weeks ago was so confident about Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, and this is not me. I've said it 100 times before. I've got nothing against Baker Mayfield. Absolutely like Baker Mayfield as the person, as the player. I've rooted for him since he left. But I do think we are going to get into it, and especially if this is any kind of serious injury, we
Mm.
might get into a situation where we are, questioning what the Bucks are going to be doing moving forward. And if this is a serious injury, Teddy Bridgewater the rest of the way, as you mentioned, Fletch, with them teams creeping up, this could get very interesting, that division.
I mean, this is the position that the Buccaneers are now in. 3 weeks ago, they were 6-2. They're now 6-5. And the Panthers, who play the 49ers tonight,
Yeah.
if they win, they will be leading the NFC South. Like that's has how it's fallen off for the Bucks. But I wanted to give a lot of credit to the Rams in this game. They just ran away with it, to be honest. It looked very easy for them. Matt
Mhm.
Stafford was barely pressured. They tightened up towards the latter part of this game, but the damage was already done. I think Matt Stafford had another 3 touchdowns. He's now had 27 touchdowns he's thrown since his last interception, which he threw against the Eagles. Um, so yeah, he's on an insane pace. Devontae
This,
Adams leads the league in touchdown catches as well. Um, I can't say enough with the praise for Matthew Stafford and the way that he's playing. And this Rams defense just was all over Baker Mayfield and then was all over Teddy Bridgewater when he came in anyway. It never looked like they were going to come back in this game. Um, and one of the big plays as well was one where K. Dotton got the ball. All you got to do is just get down. Anyway, he gets the ball stripped from him, and then the Rams go and score a touchdown from that,
Yeah.
and then next thing you know, they're up, 21-0. Fair play to Baker Mayfield. He did guide them down the field and get a touchdown with Tez Johnson towards the end of the half. But other than that, there was slim pickings had on offense for the Bucks in this one, and a dominant performance from the Rams, who just go to show that they are the best team in the NFL right now.
yeah, Matt
Yeah.
Stafford's the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
No one is playing better football at quarterback position than Matt
That was
Stafford.
why that was the only thing I was going to push back on Ollie with the Myles Garrett. Like, not to say that he's wouldn't be MVP of the league, but I think him and Stafford would be the main ones.
Yeah, but my argument there would be Stafford's playing like really good football, whereas Myles Garrett's playing historic, like we've never seen before.
Yeah, 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 yeah. True.
But yeah, don't get me wrong, 30 touchdowns to 2 interceptions is unbelievable. But we have seen that before, i.e. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers basically did that for 6 years straight, but with 40
Yeah,
touchdowns. But don't get me wrong, yeah, I've got I can't say enough high praise about Matt Stafford. As someone that was basically begging for my team to trade for him when there was that slight little rumor in the offseason that they might be interested in trading away Matt Stafford, that when you look back on, you think what a hilarious thing that was, because they're never trading a quarterback this good. And it's one thing I will say, Fletch, and I know this might annoy you, but I want to say it for the content. And obviously, as we are on a podcast right now, if you said to me, what's the one thing that Detroit Lions need right now? Don't get me wrong. Obviously, your whole secondary has been injured all year, and obviously, with Helford, obviously, and all that stuff. But I'd sit there and say Matt Stafford. You put this Matt Stafford on that Detroit Lions team. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
I get where no, I get it, I get it.
It's just,
Um,
I mean, he is just playing so good right now. And don't get me wrong, this is not to obviously the trade happened what fucking 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Hmm.
So obviously a lot of stuff's happened in between there. He had a season with 10 touchdowns, and you know what I mean. Obviously got injured and stuff like that. But just this version right now of Matthew Stafford this season, imagine that on this Detroit Lions team with those weapons.
yeah, with the way like my only worry would be right, and this is genuine. Like that Rams O line right now is better than this Lions O line.
True, true.
And given the back issues he had at the start of the season,
Mm.
I would say that you imagine like I want you to put him in that game against the Packers, right? First week of the season. I'd be worried at obviously at his age, like it's injuries are gonna happen. That's always a worry anyway. That O line would not keep him up at all throughout that game. He'd have been hit. Now he'd have probably done better than Goff during that game. That's not what I'm arguing or anything like that. It's just the O line is not enough to protect him with the some slight injury concerns. That
Yeah.
O line would have had him killed. Um,
No,
True,
I hear
but
that argument.
I do
Yeah.
also think even at how old he is now, I don't think he's
37.
any I don't think he's any worse at like moving than Jared Goff. And that's not a knock on like Jared, but like Jared Goff is just like he is a bit of a statue back there.
oh yeah, he is. He doesn't move.
But don't get me wrong, you are completely right. Like the offensive line issues, of course, is what has hindered Goff the most this season, and obviously would Stafford be playing in the same level in the same in the same obviously circumstances. But
Yeah, I think
it's
it's
just a funny thing to think about, and I just thought it's a funny thing for content.
yeah. I'd say face value. You're absolutely right. But I when you look, I think go a couple up. There's just some things I'd be thinking about. Um, well, that was it. That was every single game in the NFL this weekend. We still have the small matter of the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers can take the NFC South, or start to lead the NFC South with a win tonight. The San Francisco 49ers, well, still obviously, they'd like to keep up the pace with the top of, excuse me, the NFC West and not let the Rams get a two-game lead on them early on. With that all being said, I want to just say a huge thank you to my co-hosts Tom and Ollie for a great show. Check out this is Hate Week in College Football. Me and Ollie won't speak to each other now until next Monday. Not for, but not just because we don't like each other for the next few days. By the way, the
Happy hate week.
jersey, the way that jersey, because you walked off screen and it focused on the jersey instead. You just had
Yeah.
G Pound. Um, it just said G Pound, and I was like, "When the fuck did you get a new graphic?" Um,
I
so
should have had the Ohio State one up.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's Hate Week in College Football, so it's really we're gonna have a lot of fun on Wednesday for the college football episode. So check that out on Thursday morning on your podcast provider or our AAW YouTube channel, and more importantly, check out the preview show. I'm not sure what we're doing this week. I'll put a thing out on social media because obviously we record on Thursday. That's
And it's
Thanksgiving games are
Thanksgiving.
happening
Yeah, yeah,
at
cool.
the time. So we'll figure that one out. That's will go on social media. So follow us on social media and we will see you next week. And hopefully Chatwin will be back in place of myself.